Another week in AI development, and it's not slowing down. Lots of new features worth looking at from my favorite building tools, Claude Code and Cursor. So Claude is continuing to expand beyond Claude Code with new features that make it really a solid competitor to personal AI agents like OpenClaw and Agent Zero. Features like a new memory system, auto scheduling in Claude Cowork, and a remote control feature where you can control a local instance of Claude Code from your mobile phone or any other machine. We've got some brand new features in the last day or two, like Simplify and Batch. Simplify in particular, I think is going to be really useful. Some of these are actually really meaningful features, and one or two of these I think you should avoid completely, and I'm going to tell you why. And for the serious builders out there, I'm going to give you some good reasons why I personally am putting all my eggs in the Claude Code basket just yet, and why that is. Okay, so the first command in our list that is new is the simplify command. So essentially what it does is it reviews changed code for reuse, quality, and efficiency. What's going to happen is it's going to spin up several different sub-agents to run through the code. So let's take a look at the full process. So 3 different agents were launched. Code reuse review, code quality review, and efficiency review. I have to say, each one of the times that I ran it, it did actually come up with some useful fixes. In this case, it solved some concurrency problems and fixed a potential edge issue I might have with some promises. So far, it seems like it's pretty useful. It doesn't go and over-engineer a solution or just apply fixes for the sake of fixing them. So of course, you are going to burn tokens when you're doing something like this. So I recommend that you just run it a couple of times yourself, see if it is useful and if it is worth the run, and then move on from there. So let's check out the next command, which is batch. So essentially, what Claude and Boris Cherny, the creator of Claude Code, are saying, this is really good for basically researching large migrations or big changes. So let's say right now I have a TypeScript application and I want to migrate or change that to a Python application. So technically running this batch command, it's going to research and plan that big change, then execute it by spinning up multiple sub-agents to work in parallel. And then they'll do that via Git Worktrees. So with a worktree, what it does is it copies multiple versions of the code base so it can work on it independently. When it's finished, it merges those changes back in again. So I'm saying /batch, which is our command, and convert this project to Python. So in this case, the project was small enough. It didn't need to spin up multiple different agents. It was able to make its way through. You can see here on the left-hand side, it's begun to convert everything over to Python. So let's get our head around the new auto memory and memory function. So essentially, I go into Claude here, type in /memory. We have this ability to switch auto memory on and off. So multiple different terms here, multiple different ways of approaching this. It's all marketing for a prompt. So that helps simplify it a little bit. When you look at your project memory here, that is our claude.md file. So we're familiar with that. It's the agents.md file. It's where you store the information that's relevant to this particular project. Then we have user memory. So again, that is the same as the claude.md or the agents.md file. We just have it stored in the main user.claude folder. And then we have the auto memory folder. So if I open that here, you can see right now there's no memories in there, but that is located in the actual project that I am working in. So the idea with auto memory is it picks up on learnings and patterns. Now, in reality, I've yet to see how useful this is. I've used memory tools in the past. It can be quite problematic to keep them up to date, to prune them and to change them. I think sometimes the best approach you can have is just have a really well formatted clean code base that just makes sense for any agent to go and work through it. That's why I think the simplify command we looked at earlier could be actually one of the most powerful tools to be released. There have been quite a few studies recently trying to understand the impact of agents.md files, and it's been seen that in many cases they actually lower the efficacy of your agents. They can actually confuse the model and send it in the wrong direction. It's just like having documentation in real life that's not up to date, or comments in your code that don't get updated. You're better off just having clean, well formatted and connected code as the best way to work with your agent. So while we're on the topic of memory, if you are a ChatGPT user and you've started using Claude quite a bit, you can actually take your memories from ChatGPT and then have them dropped into Claude. So I'm here in ChatGPT. I'm going to run this prompt and let's see what happens. Well, that actually worked really well. So well, in fact, there's no way I can show you that file. It's way too intimate, has got way too many personal details. And it really is a nice little wake up for anyone to run this kind of prompt. This kind of an export, if it got in the wrong hands, would leave me very vulnerable to social engineering and also targeted marketing. So if you want to import, you go to settings, then you go to capabilities, and here on the right hand side, you can start the import. Now, I'm personally not a biggest fan of having memories because it can actually influence certain decisions. So it actually knows a lot about what tech stack I regularly use. And I find that it suggests that tech stack in situations where I don't think it might be the best fit. So for that reason, I'm actually going to decide to turn off my memory. So you can actually just go here, pause memory, or you can reset the memory. I've been using video gen models nonstop over the last 2 years, and recently I've been really impressed by Dream Machine by Luma AI. The new Ray Pi model was recently released, and it's a really nice upgrade on many levels. I think the big difference with Dream Machine is their approach to ideation and creative control, and previously that's been really challenging when working with other models and tools. So I'm creating a new promo for an upcoming course. The first thing I'm going to do is go to the ideation section to generate some ideas. Once I have a general direction, I can generate visuals from scratch, or I can take raw footage of myself and use Dream Machine to do the post-production. What's amazing here is it's me. I'm the human input and AI is doing all the background and post-production work. If you're building apps and workflows with Claude Code or OpenClaw, Luma has an API that allows you to connect for generations, which I think is a really nice bonus I'm going to be taking advantage of. Anyway, check out Luma AI via the link in the description. It's well worth it. So let's say I'm running a session on my local machine and then I want to continue it elsewhere, maybe on my phone. Now we can use remote control. So if I simply type in here /remote and then remote control, it's going to connect to a session. And so I can continue here as I normally would, or I can click on this button here and we can see the remote control is connected and I've got the session open here as an interactive session. If I switch over to my phone and then here in progress at the top, you can see the remote control session. Well, I don't know if you can see that there. So I'm going to say, tell me about this project. I'm going to hit go. So you can see I just put in a test message on my phone and then here it says, yes, it looks like you're testing. So it actually picked up on the other side. So technically I can open this on a completely different machine and it will connect in TLS back to my home computer where I've got Claude Code running. You do need to keep your machine on. You can't let it fall asleep. Otherwise the connection will drop. So that is the caveat. So we talked about remote sessions where I'm working on my local machine and then I can remote control it from either my phone or from another machine. But we can actually just spin up sessions completely independently in the cloud that aren't running on the machine whatsoever. So if I go here to new session, what I want to do is, first of all, make sure that I'm connected to Git. So if you go here to settings on the left-hand side, then connectors, just make sure you've got GitHub enabled. So that allows Cloud Code to be able to see your Git repositories. So if I go to new session here, now when I click on this drop down here, I can get access to all of my different repositories. In order for you to be able to do that, your local project is going to have to be on GitHub. I have a whole video on Git workflow. I'll put that in the description down below. We can set up Worktrees now, which is a new feature that was rolled out recently. This is something Cursor has had for quite some time. Now we have something similar in Claude Code. I can decide to kick this task off locally, or we can do it in the cloud. So we're going to add environment just so you see what that's like. We're going to call this Data Lake 4. We're going to be hitting npm install, and we need our environment variables in here because this is running in the cloud. It's not running on our local machine. And you remember, we don't put our .env file with all our credentials up into the cloud. So we need to put it in separately here. I've set plan mode here. I'm in Opus 4.6 because I like to run plans with Opus. And then I'm going to hit run. So this one's running for a few minutes and I can't see anything happening. I'm just going to click retry connection. Okay, while that's cooking, let's take a look at some changes in Cowork. So Cowork has been out for a little while and it's a very interesting addition to Claude. So just as a quick TLDR, when Claude Code came out, initially people started using it for coding exercises. However, the more and more people used it, they realized they could use it for all areas of their life, like personal management, for setting up connectors, replacing tools like N8N, Make, and Zapier in many situations. So what is the special sauce behind Cowork? Well, essentially it's the Claude Code that we're used to, the ability to run and generate any kind of code you want on your machine, but baked into a much more user-friendly interface. So you can see here, I have multiple different projects. Like I have my own operating system for my company, the courses I work in. I was recently buying an electric SUV. It's my first electric car. I didn't know much about it. So I had Cowork go and pull in all the manufacturer PDFs from the different companies and compare all the different stats. So I can select my company management folder here where I keep the entire operating system for my company in Markdown file. Essentially, what I'm building out here is the theory of a self-driving company. And I have taught Cowork how to use this operating system so it can run a scheduled task to ask me how I'm doing in terms of progress with the goals, call out if there's any risks, and inevitably make suggestions and start to build solutions and code towards solving my problems. So you can see here two basic scheduled tasks. I have a weekly OS update where it's going to ask me for any information that it can find via my APIs. So maybe I want to have Cowork work through my Gmail inbox and write a draft to all the emails that are there. It's not going to send them, but it'll at least give me an initial first draft. So here I just give it a name and a description. I'm going to pick the model that I want. In this case, I'm going to go with Sonnet. I'm going to set this to daily at 9 a.m. in the morning. Now I've already got my Gmail connected. So if I go here to settings and connectors, you'll see that Gmail is configured along with Notion for Cell and a few others. And if you want to test it out, you can just go straight to the scheduled task itself and then just hit run now. And you can see here in Gmail, all the drafts have been written already. So unfortunately, Claude are still having issues. If you take a look at the status, they are still experiencing errors today. And this is a lot of downtime over the last couple of days, 3 hours, 6 hours, 4 hours, 2 hours. Now, these are partial outages, but they have affected me today and what I'm able to get done. Now, in fairness to Claude Code, some of this outage might have to do with its big jump in interest in the last couple of weeks. The ban by Donald Trump seems to have really rocketed people's interest in this app, and it is now #1 in the top free app store. I won't go deep into the politics here, but essentially Dario, the CEO of Anthropic, refused to give the US Department of Defense access to its models for certain use cases. And Donald Trump came out and said that all government departments should stop using Anthropic products in the next 90 days. There's so much politics involved in software development now. I'm not here for it. I just want to use the right tools for the right problems. If you're into that, please subscribe. So a lot of these features and apps are in preview. You really are working on the cutting edge of what's possible. And it's for reasons like this, I highly recommend that you keep your options open in terms of tools. I'm always using a mixture of Cursor and Claude Code. The principles are very similar between both of them, but if one's not working or if I want to use various different models, at least in Cursor, I have access to the Gemini series, the GPT series, as well as Claude and anything else that I want. The Anthropic models, while they are great, are quite expensive. There might come a day where there's outages, or as we've seen in the last week or two, political reasons why it might not be accessible to you anymore. What I like about Cursor in that regard, when you're using it alongside Claude Code, is it actually respects a lot of the Claude Code settings and functionalities. A lot of your skills, your agents.md files, etc., are actually parsed and imported automatically into the system. In terms of cloud agents with Cursor, you can as well select any repository that you want. You can even use multiple models or split them out into worktrees. So you could have Codex, Opus, and Gemini all work on the same problem and pick which is the best. And Cursor actually has one or two really cool updates recently. My favorite being this cloud agents with computer use. So bear with me. Essentially what it does, it will go ahead and do a portion of work. When it's finished, it'll actually create a video of the work that it's done by testing the app, send you that video along with the pull request. Also new to Cursor in the last week are plugins. So essentially very similar to what you get with Claude Code plugins. If you're working with the likes of Neon, Clerk, Notion, Linear, any of these tools, you can use these plugins to help you integrate and work better with those tools. Now, also really cool, hidden away down the bottom here, is the Cursor Team Kit. So this is a nice little nugget of gold, but the Cursor team basically have included all the different skills and agents that they use themselves as they're building out Cursor. So we have a DSLOP skill here, which is probably the equivalent to the simplify command that Claude Code has, and a CI Watcher sub-agent that basically just tests to see if your builds fail whenever they go to production. Just a quick one, guys. If you're into building with AI, highly recommend you check out switchdimension.com, where I have a complete course and community. Along with a full web app build, we also have a new course on Claude Code Mastery. Highly recommend you check it out.